Hey, it's John Black, Super Chemist. I lied as usual about being done with my playlist. This is going to go on two different playlists. Uh, playlist called Pastafarian Rolls, and also a playlist called War. Uh, and if you're listening to this from the Pastafarian Rolls playlist, I suggest you go over and watch the playlist called War, because it's going to be a long playlist. This is the third in that series of War, but I'm going to add to it. After I do a bunch of other videos, I'm going to definitely add to it. Uh, but anyways, like I said, Pastafarian. That's why I'm putting this in the Pastafarian, because Pastafarian needs to know what war is. Okay, war is not. There's a good side and a bad side. Okay, that's not what a war is. A war is a stage. Okay, they're all staged. Every war that we have ever been in has been staged. Okay, it's all. And when I say staged, I don't mean it. It didn't happen. We didn't kill people and they didn't kill us, and there were wars. They were just fixed. It was all a joke. It's not a joke, but all just a money making scheme. And you could say, well, maybe some of them are, maybe even all of them are. But World War II, at least, we had to fight that war because Hitler would have taken over the entire world. And yet, but is that true? Is that true? Okay, and I'm going to get into this because not the next video, but the video after that, I'm going to get into a playlist series called, what the fuck is happening to this world? Why is it falling apart? Why do people not know what a woman is? Why do we have drag queens having story hour with kindergartners? Why, did we shut down all our oil fields and open up our borders? Why is everything crazy? We have no laws anymore. You have illegal aliens beating up cops in Times Square on national TV, and they let them go. Like they're like, oh, we don't know, we can't keep them in jail. We don't have much evidence here. It's like it's literally on TV on like 10 different. Everyone. Today, everyone has their phone out. There's more than one. Just like the Rittenhouse thing. There's literally 6 different phones and you can see the entire thing happening. You know what I mean? So none of it's hidden. But Prescott Bush, the guy who's the president, you had Bush, W.H. Bush, and then you had the kid who became president. Well, their father or grandfather, Prescott Bush, he was the one who funded the Nazi regime. Without him, like if you wanted to stop the Nazi regime, the best way to do it is not to kill Hitler, it's to kill Prescott Bush. Because without Prescott Bush, there would be no World War II. Okay? Not only did he, because he owned the central banks, and the central banks are the evil elite, and they funded the Nazi regime with loans. Without the money from those central banks, there would have been no World War II. Okay, there would be no Nazi regime. Another thing is that he had the companies that sold him ammunitions and weapons and that type of thing. You know what I mean? But even if you take those two things away and you say, well, hey, if he didn't do it, some other bank would be loaning the Nazi regime money. If he didn't sell them arms and, blah, 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 other companies would be selling the Nazis arms and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's true. That's true. But there is one thing that Prescott Bush was in charge of solely, and no other company, no other bank, no other human could have done. And that was he sold jet fuel to the Nazi regime. Without that jet fuel, and you might say someone else would have bought. No, there were patents. There's only one company and one person who controlled that company who could control the flow of fuel for jets. Okay, there was only one. Without this, I mean, sure, the Nazi regime, their planes probably could go on a couple missions, but after a couple missions, their planes would have died because you need the special fuel that you put into the, into the jet. You know what I mean? Just like a car, gasoline car, you could probably take some ethanol if it's anhydrous, just throw it in your car and drive around for days. But after a day or two, maybe even a week, your car's gonna die because it's not made to use pure ethanol. You know what I mean? But it'll run for a little bit. The same way with this fuel. All that, and you think about it. If you have a war with no planes and all the other countries have planes, you lost. You can't win without planes because whoever has planes just goes up high enough so you can't shoot them down, and they throw down bombs onto your crap, onto your armed forces. So you cannot win. It's like having a country that has machine guns and a country doesn't have machine guns. They just have sticks and stones. The machine guns are going to win. It doesn't matter. You have machine guns. Same with the air forces. Nazi regime would have been nothing without an air force. All the other countries would have just sent their air forces over, and they wouldn't even send their people in. They just bomb them. You know what I mean? But he had the only one. He had the patents on it. He had the actual manufacturing in it. He controlled it completely. All he had to do. So all those, if you're my age, the movies back then showing about how there was all, the UK, there's like bombings all over the time. Every movie you see them, oh, there's an air raid, we got to go for cover or whatever, because the Nazis were bombing UK all the time, man, with their planes. All those millions of people that died in the UK could have been stopped with a snap of a finger by Prescott Bush by just not giving them the fuel for their jets to get over to the UK, because he was the only man, the only company. There was no one else in the entire world that could have given them this fuel. They didn't know how to make this fuel. He is the only one that had the patents. He had the know-how, and he had the factories already up in place. All he had to do was say, "No, I'm not going to sell you this fuel, man." And all those millions of people that died in the UK and everywhere, and in the whole world war, none of them would have died if Prescott Bush, George Bush's dad and grandfather, didn't sell that fuel because it was the only fuel there was. Okay, all he had to do to stop World War II was boom, stop selling the fuel for the jets. So without the jets, all the other countries would just come over. That's why he wouldn't have started the war, because without the jets, he knows that other countries have jets. They just fly over and just bomb him to death until he was, in submission. So, yeah, even World War II was fixed. It was all just a stage. It was all just a show. It was just all whatever. And pastafarians need to understand, even World War II, and that is true. If the Nazis won, I mean, come on, man, the world would be all screwed up, man. But the only reason he got into power is because we staged it. We funded it all. We love war and we love segregation. Not me. I hate it. But the elites, they love the wars and the segregation because, for one, it divides us. And as long as we're divided, as long as we're fighting against something, then we can always look to the elites, the government. Give me money, fund this and fund that so that we can fight against this injustice, this horrible country, or this race, or this oppression, or this, that. You know what I mean? It's all just lies to divide us. War. I don't even know if this is working now. But anyways, how do they make money? Doing wars. First of all, they fund both sides. The central bank, which is the evil. See, that's the thing. You got to get rid of the central bank. That's why this video is in the Pastafarian rules. You need to get rid of the central bank. Okay. Otherwise, you're not a Pastafarian and you don't believe in Pastafarian beliefs. So the central bank it funds both sides. It funds the United States and it funds Nazi Germany. Whoever's in the war, they're funding both sides. Okay, so they make money by loans. And then they also have companies, other companies, right? That they're the ones who make the arms, the bullets and this and that, the jets and that. They make them and they sell them. And then they sell them to both sides. Both sides they sell to. Okay? And then after the war, okay? Oh, and also then they have programs that help the movement. You know what I mean? Oh, now the government has to spend money on commercials trying to say, oh, World War I, we got to get into it, or this war, we got to get into it, and money for this to help out we're on this side, and we don't like that side, so we got to give money to this side over here. We got to give, financial support to the side that we like. You know, even though both sides are fucking pieces of shit, they're just going along with a staged war instead of realizing that and voting those people out instead of saying, hey, if you get us in a war, we're going to vote you out. We don't do that no more. Okay, but we don't do that because we don't have pastafarians in this world. We have Christians and we have woke religious people. We have crazy people, and that's why you get crazy government and crazy everything. But anyways. Both sides. Oh, and then what happens after the war? After the war, that's when they clean up even more. Because you know what happens? They get all that stuff, all that country that they destroyed. Now they have their construction companies come in, and they're this and that. And you'll have these the biggest construction companies in the world are the ones going in. Yeah, same people who own the central banks, the WEF, blah, blah, blah. The elites, yeah, they come in and then they make trillions, billions on rebuilding that country, like they're doing right now in Ukraine. They're buying up for pennies on a dollar, and they're companies that are construction companies are going to come in, and all those construction companies are owned by the central bank, the elites, the 1% that run everything, the deep state, whatever. And I want you to. Why are wars so long with third world countries? Why does the Vietnamese, the North Korean, Afghanistan? Why do these wars take 20 years for them to have? You know what I mean? They don't make any sense. Because I keep saying, they just want us to be in a war nonstop, never ending. Since I've been alive, other than Trump, we have been in a war since I've been alive. Okay, and I'm an old man. Okay, let's see how much time I got left there. Okay, I got 2 more minutes. So, anyways, how could that be? Middle East? How is there these third world countries? How are they kicking our ass? How are we prolonging them? You know what I mean? Common sense would say something's going on there that is fishy. Okay, the reason why is because it's called rules of engagement. Okay, see, rules of engagement is what, like saying we get in a war, right? And then we say, well, you're not allowed to engage these people if they have, you're not allowed to engage this military base, even though it's our enemy's munitions, dump. You're not allowed to engage here. You're not allowed to engage here. Basically, they're saying to our side, the U.S. side, you can kill everyone in that country. That's what we want. Kill everybody off. Murder every motherfucker you see. But the munitions and the bullets and their tanks, don't ever, none of their weapons. Don't ever destroy any of their weapons. That's against the rules of engagement. And then you wonder, well, gee, I wonder how does this war keep out? Because if we can't destroy, like in Vietnam, we killed 3 million freaking Vietnamese. Only 50,000 Americans died. Only 50,000. And yes, I understand, yes, 50,000 is a lot. And I'm not saying it's not a lot of people. I'm saying compared to 3 million? We were killing 3 million? Compared to 50,000 is nothing compared to 3 million, okay? How did we not win that war? If we killed off that many people, 3 million people, compared to 50,000? Well, because they still had weapons. Because we weren't allowed to engage